Hey Libra, so this was supposed to be your new moon in Capricorn reading, but I had a little interference. So we're still calling it the new moon reading just to complete this cycle of readings, this series of readings entitled the new moon. But really this is 7 days out from whenever you see this. All of my readings are timeless, and so whenever you catch this reading, it was meant for you whenever you've clicked on it. Okay, so let's get into this. We're going to do a little bit of a different approach to my from my other readings, which is to say that I'm going to do a little academic explainer on the cards as they lay out, and then we'll get into the interpretation, into the intuitive part of the reading after that. All right, Libra. We're going to do Celtic Cross. Without further ado, it deals with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is inspiration, new ideas bursting forward, just a huge energy, really great way to start your reading. Whoa! It just gets better. I just have to get this in. Yeah, huge new beginning, new passionate beginnings, new ideas, new inspirations, new adventures. And then what's crossing the energy is the Sun card, best card in the deck. It's life-bringing happiness, it's virility, it's just like this incredible sunny energy that's vibrant and childlike. It's whimsical, it's magical, it's happiness unbridled. Libra, not bad. What is at the root of you? What's at the root of you is interesting, some fast-moving messages with the Knight of Swords. Yeah, so it's air energy, so some of you might be dealing with a fellow air sign, so you're an air sign. Or it could be that you're dealing with one of the other air signs, Aquarius and Gemini. But really furious activity of just messages on the wind, you know. Could be like a flurry of emails or a flurry of just something that you learned really just suddenly, really all of the sudden. Fast moving activity, or you know, it's energy that's rooting you. The need to take fast, swift, and pointed action. And your recent past, you have the Page of Swords. So underdeveloped communication that's truthful, but maybe a little clumsy. Observation, surveillance, research. These are the ideas around the Page of Swords. So what's crowning you is the Two of Pentacles. Balancing, juggling things. Pentacles is earth energy. So here in the material world, could be literally balancing finances. Balancing, but, you know, juggling things well. Causing a little bit of emotional, you know, upset and turmoil in the background, you know, this sense of juggling. So you're doing it well, but it may not be easy. In your near future is the Seven of Wands. Defensiveness, or standing your ground, having the higher ground, having a stance of integrity, being challenged, but having the higher ground. You might be dealing with the Gemini. A lot of these cards came out in Gemini's reading as well, and I shuffled these really well. Signifying you particularly is the King of Cups. You're in a really beautiful, overflowing, loving space. You're nurturing. You're calm in choppy waters. You're calm in, among the chaos. You're overflowing with love, though. You've got love energy and just so much. It's the highest exalted aspect of the cups suit. And cups represent emotion. So you're really emotionally mature, emotionally evolved, and sophisticated. You have a real grasp on empathy and sympathy, and you're a nurturer, but there's a real serenity around that nurturing. In your environment is the Six of Swords, moving away from choppy waters to find peace of mind, going on a journey, travel to find peace. Leaving the situation, but still having to process through the thoughts. In your hopes and fears is the High Priestess. It's a card of intuition, divine feminine energy. It's a card of great balance, of understanding the balance between dark and light, and masculine and feminine. It's a card that's near to female reproduction with the pomegranates in the background, so female abundance and fertility. But really the priestess is connected to the moon, and she's supreme connection to spirit, really deep intuition. And in your outcome, woo, that's coming out, is it's the Three of Swords in the reverse. This is the healing of heartbreak, the healing of some pain that was felt along the way. We'll clarify that card. The Three of Swords is about heartbreak, perhaps even betrayal, but in the reverse, it talks about the release of that, so healing. So Libra, let's get into this. What your reading deals with is a huge inspirational breakthrough moment, something that is just filling you with a fiery passion. It's a huge aha. It's a big idea. It's perhaps even somebody bringing you news and making you a new offer of that really fires you up, makes you feel very, very just inspired, yeah, and passionate. If it feels something very passionate, and crossing you is the sun, and so this talks about this being something life-bringing, very fulfilling, and it imbues you with this energy that's almost childlike. It's the energy of the sun, and this is all fire and all passion, and it's all just happening right now. Which is great. It's a great way to start. My air signs are all on fire right now. All of you got fire all over the place. So you're in good company within your element, and I think that there's probably something in the cosmos that supports that for you right now. But Libra specifically, for you, it's this idea, this aha moment of whether it's via news, which it very well could be because you've got the Knight of Swords at the root of you, and so this could have been the result of just some really fast coming information that required your action, and the action that is the Knight of Swords is this pointed sort of like, the Knight of Swords is trained to do one thing only. He goes in to kill, and it's this really laser focused energy that he goes in to do that one thing that he does. He kills it, and then he leaves. He's done. His work is done. So that's the level, the type of behavior and action that it talks about, and it talks about being able to do it swiftly and without error. So at the root of this passionate, big idea, aha moment that is life-bringing and brings you much, much happiness was this period of, of messages, information coming through, and your very pointed and direct action making this stuff happen. In the recent past is the Page of Swords. There's a lot of observation going on, lots of communication going on, but mostly research and observation is what I'm getting here, especially like in the order that these guys are showing up. And it makes sense that, this begets this, it's the Page and then grows up to the Knight. So when this energy matures, like it went from observation, research, understanding, something, and surveilling something into the ability to make pointed action. That makes a whole lot of sense to me, Libra. At your crown is this idea of sort of juggling a lot of things. Juggling, here it's two pentacles, but in the real world, you're having to do this performance of multitasking all the time, and you're juggling finances, and you're just doing so much in order to strike a balance. You're doing it on one leg, and so you're really doing it, making a beautiful performance out of it. You've been doing it for so long that you're expert at it. It's not really a bother, but it's hard. It's causing some emotional up and down, it's it'd be great if you could drop one of those pentacles, simplify, make things easier. That would be better, but you do what you have to do, and you juggle it, and you juggle things, and that's sort of the crowning energy. And so that's really, really great. And I think that's interesting, and we're going to see what happens in the outcome, because I feel like what is coming through for me is that this stuff that happened here is going to lead to the ability to simplify, because this is huge. This happiness that's talked about is really huge. In your near future is this idea of the Seven of Wands is standing your higher ground. So there's going to be this, it's an idea of being challenged, something challenging your position. Something's going to come in and challenge your position. It's going to require you to defend yourself, but you can defend yourself knowing that you have the higher ground. You have the stance of integrity against these people who are probably coming at you being all petty. So that's the good news about the Seven of Wands. It's a bummer that people come at you, but the thing is, you have the higher ground. You hold the higher position in this, the position of integrity. So that's what that talks about. And, of course you do, because you're the King of Cups. And this is somebody who, amidst all the chaos, state remains really, really calm, because they are imbued the highest aspect of their element of water, which is emotion. They're emotionally the most together, and they have a sense of serenity around them, even when things get a little crazy, which is why you're able to balance things so well. And you're like, okay, whatever, it's easy for me. Or I'm just really good at it now. So because you're just so emotionally exalted and mature, and I just got a huge ringing in my right ear, and that's just that's our Libra. You know how to handle this stuff while still being so loving, you don't let it embitter you, which is gorgeous. And that's why you get and attract this level of happiness. That's why. Or part of the reason anyway, it's, you're smart too, but really the most special thing is you're just the abundance of love that you have, and nurturing, and, to give. And it's really interesting the way it's reflected up here in the Priestess. Before we get there, excuse me. In your environment is the Six of Swords, and that's, there's a sense of moving forward towards peace, and away from these choppy waters, and that's what's happening around you. It's so interesting because the King of Cups sits in choppy waters, and you know, even though he's able to weather that with a sense of peace about him, you know, it's not preferable. So there is a sense that you're actually moving away from the choppy waters, and you're taking, you know, your people with you, and you're moving on to a peaceful place. And it doesn't, you know, mean that there isn't still stuff to think about, but you know, with these swords, you carry the swords with you, and that's mental energy, you know, that has to do with why these waters were choppy. So you take it with you, and you move on to a more peaceful place where you can perhaps see things from a better perspective, because when you're down in, and it's a difficult place to solve your problems, you know, when you're in the thick of the weeds. You have to sort of disentangle from that, not to, you know, double up on our metaphors here, but what I'm saying is that, you know, the wisdom behind moving away from this energy in order to sort it out is, I think, a pretty exalted and smart one, you know, especially with the presence of the priestess here. I think that, you know, what we're talking about here is escape mission just came into my head, it popped into my head. Like what I'm seeing here, you know, implied on the table is that, you know, in spite of a lot of love and a lot of, you know, fulfillment and a lot of happiness in a lot of ways, like there was a sense that, you know, things were having to be juggled, things are not quite sitting right. And so you watched, you waited, you made your move, and it was challenging, but you sort of battle through it and stand your higher ground, and then you just ultimately make a decision to like move on from the choppy waters. You're like, with all the love in my heart, I gotta go. You're using your intuition, and your hopes and fears is the priestess, and so that tells me that it's like you're sort of like, all right, well, I hope I'm doing the right thing. Well, you are, because you have to go to a place of healing, and that's, you know, and so your intuition to move out of the, you know, sort of the upset and I'm gonna keep on saying choppy waters, but that sort of disruptive environment, your intuition to move away from that in order to have a peaceful setting, in order to sort things out and really understand what these swords are, what the things in your mind are really telling you. That is how you achieve healing. And then your outcome is the Three of Swords in reverse, and it's all about healing any wounds or broken hearts or sense of betrayal, that whatever the energy over here was, perhaps these challenging energies, or just to even get to a place, for some of you it's going to be in general, like just sort of get, you know, you've been doing this so long, you've been juggling so long, it's been just so, the balls have just been in the air, and like it's been all of you to pay attention in order to keep those afloat, that you haven't been able to really deal with things on the inside that, you know, that will help you ascend to your next level. You know, you kind of have to put things down in order to go within and understand what comes next, right? And so in having the deep wisdom to move away and go to a place of peace, and then therefore perhaps simplify and put one of these things down, you can really begin to address some stuff and bring about great healing. Okay, so let's find out what that healing has to do with. We've got the Star card, which is hopes and dreams and wishes come true, and attention. Star card, and then we've got, what else do we got for our Libra collective? Libras, come on. Okay, we've got homecoming. This is beautiful. Homecoming, unity, being among your people, being in your community. Two of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, just taking the blindfold off. Oh, and the Hierophant. Okay. I just keep on wanting to shuffle things out, but I'll stop right there. The 4 cards clarifying healing. So these are the things that you're healing. You're getting an ascension, major arcana here, for, achieving your hopes, dreams, your wishes, coming true, the star, being the star, gaining recognition for the things that you're growing, for the things that you're nurturing, for the things that that you're putting your heart into, that you're watering, and that's, comes with your healing. You've got a sense of homecoming, a sense of community, a sense of knowing who your people are, and building that foundation strong, and just always having a sense of home, hearth and home, and knowing who your soulmates are. And yeah, it's a card of unity and a card of community. It's the village, and letting go of indecision, and also moving forward on something using your intuition, your very strong intuition. So the Two of Swords talks about being at a crossroads and having to make a decision, perhaps coming up against a choice, feeling blocked off from that choice because you don't have all of the information. And again, here are the choppy waters in the background being reflected, as a part of your issue. You're just, I get the feeling, Libra, that you've been in the midst of chaos for a long time, and you've just been dealing with it because you're good at it, because you can just, I think that there's a lot of workplace environments that feel like this, right? You just get really good at excuse me, at doing your job, in this environment of upheaval, on a daily basis, because it's like this is a new chaotic fire du jour, fire of the day, and you just get really good at executing, through it. But you don't have to anymore, and like there's no way to live for a very long period of time, is it? And so that choppy waters environment is reflected here, and that just sort of tells me that like this is just your normal, or has been your normal, but you're finally making the choice to move away from that and heal with that, because it doesn't come without its disruption, even though you're really good at closing it out and blocking it and pretending la 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 it's not there. And the reason why you haven't done it sooner perhaps is because you haven't had all the information, like what does it mean to move away from this? Well, when you turn this upside down, it means that you release that notion and you use your expert intuition to help guide you through like the scant moonlight. The moon is here to talk about like what you don't know, and so you have one of the choices that's presented to you in a scenario like this is to run away from the shadows and not do anything because you don't see enough, or to utilize the things that are lit up by the moon, even if they're just glinting impressions that are lit up, and using your powers of extrapolation and indeed your intuition, your very, very honed intuition, in order to navigate through the darkness. And so when this comes up in the reverse in your outcome, it tells me that that's what you choose to do, and you move forward and you leave behind the chaos, and you get to a place where you can actually heal. And our fourth card was the Hierophant, and that is a card of stability, of structure, of practice, of great wisdom here on earth. It's also a card of delegation for me today, especially. It came up in Aquarius's reading as well, and so let's talk about that too here, and especially when we talk about dealing with things with it looks like you've been dealing with your issues alone. All of these cards are solo cards, except for in your outcome, well, two things. When you were moving away, you brought your people with you, and in your outcome you have your people with you. Everywhere else you've been going it alone, so it's like you're the solo act here. And now in your outcome, you've got two people here. The Hierophant is talking about delegating, and and using your people better, using your community to help offset and offload some of the responsibilities that you find that you have, and that you're not the only one to keep things afloat. Libra, I think that it's a really necessary part of your healing, because even as you solve for this last period of upset waters, or whatever it was the thing that you've been doing, or the conditions under which you were operating for a very long time, and you finally, got the gumption to move away from it. Well, if you have to solve for it at every level in order to make sure it doesn't happen, you just don't find yourself in this place again. And I think a really big part of it is leaning into your community and delegating some of your responsibility, or just, letting people know, letting people in on the process a little bit more, so that you can be relieved of some of the weight of it. Yeah, and it's tradition for some of you is also, the Hierophant is the energy of unions and marriage and contracts and legal things, and presiding over things, and in a traditional sense. And so there might be some sort of signing of contracts and some closure that, as you move away to a new place, there might be something that's sort of a bit more, bureaucratic spoken to here, that's a part of this process. But it means that you've just gone to a new healing place. For some of you, you're going to be finding a new home and closing a deal on that. A lot of you, again, the star card energy is like, the big standout here, because, what happens when you heal and you gain the stability, and you decide to release this indecision about how to move forward, and you build this out into something more structured, and you delegate out, you really ascend to the star level. You get, all of your hopes and dreams are realized, and it's also, you get a great deal of recognition out of it as well, and it's growing. You're everything that you're putting into it, it will grow into something more. It will keep going, Libra. Really great, really great, really great. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it here for you. If you like that reading, if it resonated with you, please hit the thumbs up. Ooh, sorry, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you feel so moved to drop a comment. Please do. I do love to hear from you. And with that, I'm sending you my love and light, and hope to see you at the next one. Bye for now.